around 50 kilometers from the station, from the nuclear station. So if you have relatives in Fukushima 50 kilometers from the station, would you bring them to Tsukuba?
Well, depends on how close to the reactor.
50 kilometers.
Right, 50 kilometer is probably safe enough not to worry about. One information, for example, I could not get is how much radioactive fuel is stocked in each building in fire or accident. There are 6 buildings, 6 reactors. This number I could not get out. I'm sure some specialist knows. I would assume it probably something of the order of like 10 tons or something. Ichimiya-san, do you know anything about it?
No. No. I don't know.
Yeah. Hang on. I gave you the chance, okay? So without knowing how much radioactive materials is in that nuclear reactor complex, 6 buildings and alone, I cannot tell even if all of them are beautifully exposed and get into the air. If you don't know the amount of the radioactive material, I can't tell you. Once you know, you can calculate. So this is a problem. They don't tell you. Or at least I could not find it. Yes, please.
Actually, 2 things. One thing is comment about radioactive level comparison with European cities. For instance, Helsinki have almost 100 times higher radioactive level, and Stockholm also because it's built on the heavy stones.
Yeah.
So don't worry about here. And my question was about actually what happens on the plant. It seems that radioactive roads start melted, and we are talking about only the burning and what we have in the atmosphere. But what will happen if does the mass of radioactive materials more than the critical mass in each reactor?
Critical mass, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the question.
No nuclear power plant has enough radioactive material to cause any sort of radioactive explosion.
Yeah, definitely it will not be a radioactive explosion, but
that's what you meant by critical mass.
yes, but so when you will have one big particle, what will happen? It will burn only?
In the worst case, it will melt into the ground.
Melt into the ground.
But it will not explode.
Yeah, definitely it will not explode.
No, but that would be critical mass.
Yeah, critical mass
would be
means
enough
explosion.
to
Yes.
cause a nuclear bomb explosion.
Okay.
It's a leakage.
Look, my friend lived in Hiroshima. His mother was within 2 kilometers from the nuclear bomb explosion. She is still alive. Very fortunate because she was a clerk in a bank where the building was built with a heavy stone. Only because she was behind the big pillar of stone, she survived. But the people who was sitting next to her died. One could be lucky. But my vague memory is the real danger area was about 30 kilometers around Hiroshima. Partially because that the bomb was exploded in the air, high. Alright? Now, I don't know how big, as I said, I don't know how much fuels is stored in this reactor complex. But it may not be 100 times more than atomic bomb, neither 1/10 of the atomic bomb, somewhere in between, I suppose. And actually one of my former professor, supervisor, walked into Hiroshima 3 days after the accident because government asked him to measure the level of danger and damage. He carried the Geiger-Müller counter, walked into Hiroshima, and He called me yesterday. So my very crude, this is my instinct, not founded with any fact, is I would think about 30 kilometers would be a area you would worry about. 50 would be probably safe. 100 probably you don't have to worry about. And here we have 170. Yes.
This is the present situation.
Yes.
But what could be the worst scenario? We don't know what is going to happen in the future, in the next coming few days.
The worst scenario would be that the meteorite hit the whole complex and everything gets powder and get into the air. Remember that they do not get into the air unless it is emitted in a powder form. Heavy, decent sized thing would fall on the ground, all right? The worst scenario is everything is powdered and ejected to the air, which you can do it with a meteorite. But I don't think those meltdown or anything would really make everything in a powder form to emit into the air. So, unless you are expecting a meteorite visiting us in the near future, I don't think we are in that much danger. Look, I'm not a specialist.
But is the reactor now functioning or
No.
not functioning? All reactors are
All right.
stopped.
As far as I know, this is again from the television, but this far I can trust. They had 6 reactors in the complex. 3 of them were in the maintenance phase. Therefore, there was no electricity, no reaction at all. They were just sitting there. The fuel was not in the reactor volume, was in a storage. But because everybody was concerned about the exploded number 1, number 2, number 3, so that the situation of the number 4, 5, 6 were neglected because they are totally shut off, right? Number 1, number 2, number 3 were in operation, but after detecting the earthquake shake, automatically went into the shut-off mode. Therefore, the nuclear reaction to produce electric power was stopped successfully. However, they have these hot rods sitting in there. And naturally, when you stop everything, you wait for the cooling down period. Even this projector can be very hot for a while after you turn the power off. So that they are supposed to bring in the water to cool down and wait until everything is calm because major switch was off. However, things malfunctioned. There are, according to the explanation, 3 independent methods to provide water to cool. And all of them unfortunately malfunctioned. One, particularly because of the tsunami. Some information says that the design criteria for the tsunami size was 70 centimeters, which is 15 times smaller than what really happened. So that this probably, the salt water get into the generator. So that second option failed. All those power generator to provide electricity to send the water into the area failed. The third one was an automatic one because the heat produces the steam which turn the turbine, which generate the power to drive the things going back so that it is kind of self-working cooling system. But this seems to have failed. look that this quake was one of the never experienced dimension. And worst one was about 60 million years ago when the big stone hit the earth. Fortunately, we are not dinosaurs, but you see, suppose you design something. I'm partially engineer. You design something for the safety for any conditions. There's nothing you can produce. If you try to design an automobile that doesn't fail, which means you sit in the house or in a cave and hope the cave moves. So it's a